Hello everybody. Our lesson today is for the 4th AM classes. It's about the present perfect. Let's start part 1, the affirmative form. We form the present perfect using the auxiliary has or have plus past participle. Well, has or have depending on the subject, of course. We can also use the short form of has, which is apostrophe s, and the short form of have, that is apostrophe ve plus past participle. Now look at these examples. Number 1, she has made a cake, or she's made a cake. Made is the past participle of to make, of course. Make is an irregular verb. The second example, I have finished my homework, or I've finished my homework. And finish is a regular verb. To get the past participle, I should add, or we must add, ed. Of course, when the irregular verb, the regular verb ends in a consonant, I add ed. If the verb ends in e, for example, invite, revise, I add only d. Now, when do we use the present perfect? This tense is used to talk about an experience in life, in our life. It means something we have done at least once in our life. Example, number 1, Bob has climbed Mount Everest. Number 2, my parents have visited the pyramids. And here, with the present perfect, we don't need any time reference. You see, we need no time reference with the present perfect. In case you want to say when, you should use the past simple tense. Look at this example. I've seen this film. You see, I've seen this film in the present perfect. You have no time reference. The next sentence, the second sentence, I saw it last month. I saw it last month. Here, last month refers to the past. The verb is in the past simple. Now, part 2, negative form. We make the negative form using has or have plus not plus past participle, or the short forms hasn't, haven't plus past participle. We can also use never with the present perfect. You see, the verb is affirmative, but the meaning is negative. Look at the examples. I haven't seen this film. She hasn't or she has not seen this film. Number 3, I have never played ice hockey. Never comes after have, but before the past participle. See, I have never played ice hockey. As you can see, the verb have played is affirmative, but the meaning of the sentence is negative. Never, because you've got never. Now, part 3, interrogative form, asking questions. We have got 2 types of questions. Yes, no questions and WH questions. Let's start with yes and no questions. We form the question, or we start the question with the auxiliary has or have, of course depending on the subject, plus the subject plus past participle. We can also use ever in a yes-no question. You say, has or have plus the subject plus ever plus past participle. Question mark, of course. WH questions. You start the question with WH word, then the auxiliary has or have, then the subject, and then the past participle. And you can have an object at the end of the question, and the question mark, of course. The examples now. Number 1. Have you seen this film? Has he finished his homework? Have you ever ridden a camel? Have you ever ridden a camel? You've got ever. It comes before the past participle, just after the subject, before the past participle. Ridden is the past participle of the verb to ride. It is an irregular verb. You have to learn your irregular verbs. Number 2, WH questions. Who has seen this film? And here we don't have a subject in this question because I'm asking about the subject. Who has seen this film? You've got who, has, plus past participle. We don't have a subject here because we are asking about the subject. Question number 2, where have you put the book? Where, auxiliary, have, subject, you, and put the past participle, then the book, which is an object, the object of the question, then the question mark. Where have you put the book? Now look at this, the past participle of to go. We've got gone and been. See that been can be used as a past participle of go. Let's take a look at the following examples. Number 1. My brother has gone to Paris. What does that mean? It means that he is still in Paris now. It means that he hasn't come back yet. He is in Paris now. He is still in Paris. Number 2, my brother has been to Paris. That means that he has come back home. He has visited Paris and has come back home. He isn't in Paris now. When we use been, it means my brother has visited Paris and has come back home. But when we say he has gone to Paris, it means now he is there. He is in Paris. He hasn't come back home. Well, to consolidate what we have seen so far, you do exercise 3 and exercise 6 on page 56 of the student's book, and the exercises on page 38 of the workbook. Now let's start lesson 2. In lesson 2, we have the present perfect with since and for. The present perfect is also used to talk about a situation or action that started in the past and continues in the present. And here we use since and for. For example, my brother has lived in Paris since 2010. My brother has lived in Paris for 10 years. What's the difference between these two sentences? And here these sentences mean that my brother went to Paris in 2010 or 2010 and he is still there. He lives there. Look at the join here. Since 2010. Now we are 2020. From 2010 to 2020 we have 10 years. So for 10 years. We use since to give the starting point of the situation. Since 2010. And for indicates the period of time. We use for to indicate the period of time. The period here is 10 years. For 10 years. He has lived in Paris for 10 years. That means since 2010. And to consolidate this, we have exercises on page 60 of the student's book and page 42 of the workbook. Lesson 3, present perfect with just, already, and yet. We use just and already in positive, that means affirmative sentences, and they come after has or have, but before the past participle. They are between the auxiliary and the past participle. Look at the examples. It's 7:30 a.m. and John has already gone to school. Has already gone to school. His sister has just got up. His sister has just got up. You see, just is between has and got. Already is between has and gone. Number 2, we use yet in negative sentences or in yes and no questions, and it is always at the end of the sentence. For example, number 1, have you finished your homework yet? Why have I put yet between brackets? Because we can say, have you finished your homework? Have you finished your homework yet? Or have you finished your homework? You answer this question, you could say, yes, I have. Yes, I have already finished. Or no, not yet. I haven't finished yet. In the negative form, you say, I have not or I haven't finished my homework yet. As you can see, yet is always at the end of the sentence or at the end of the question. And here the present perfect is used to talk about recent actions. It means actions that have just taken place. Okay? Now to consolidate this, you do exercises 2, 4, 5, and 6 on page 78 of the student's book and page 54 of the workbook. Thank you. This is the end of our lesson. I hope everything is clear. We'll meet in the next video.